Hello and welcome to this TTA TV video. In today's video, we'll be looking at conic sections once again. In the previous video, we looked at the parabola. Today, we'll be focusing on the ellipse. This video will examine how the ellipse is used in architecture and also in other applications such as medical devices. Firstly, examining how the unique properties of an ellipse play a feature in some buildings around the world which have unique features associated with them. The Grand Central Station in New York and St. Paul's Cathedral in London share a similar trait, and that is that they have what is known as a whispering gallery. The concept of a whispering gallery is that if two people stand at opposite ends of a room, they can hear each other speak even if they are whispering. And the reason this works is because the ceilings of these buildings where it works is elliptical. The properties of an ellipse allow this fascinating occurrence to happen, and I'm going to examine this in this video shortly. So the concept is that if you're in a room and the ceiling of that room is based on an ellipse, and you and a friend stand at the opposite ends of the room, speak at a very low volume, the sound will revert off the ceiling and bounce to the other person, therefore allowing them to hear you very clearly. Now, of course, sound does not go in a singular path. It will convey outwards in terms of like a signal. So this happens in different locations across the ceiling. But the constant is that no matter where the sound hits the ceiling, it will reflect and go to a constant point. Now, in terms of examining the properties of an ellipse, the positions in which these people will be standing for the best effect and for the most efficient way of this working would be what are known as the focal points of an ellipse. The focal points of an ellipse are very easy to find using our drawing equipment. If we have an ellipse, we simply measure half of its major axis, and we use that distance set with our compass, and we go to the top of the ellipse where the minor axis, and we strike a distance left and right, and that is hitting our major axis to find the focal points. Now, we'll be going through how to construct an ellipse in more detail in a different video. So these focal points play a huge role in terms of how the whispering gallery operates. Another unique feature of them is that if you follow the distance from the focal points to any point on the ellipse's path, the sum total of that distance will remain constant. So what that means is no matter where I go on my ellipse, if I was to measure the distance of the red arrow and the distance of the orange arrow and add them together, I would get the same measurement. This principle, that an ellipse is the locus of points such that the sum of the distance to each focus is constant, is applied in this short clip here where we see a craftsman drawing an ellipse on a piece of timber using what is known as the string method. So the sum total of our red and orange arrow is the distance that he has tied the string to be. You will see the nails holding the string in place are on the focus points, and by keeping the string at a constant tension, he gets a perfect elliptical curve on the timber. So that's where the ellipse is applied in terms of building and architecture. It's also applied in the medical world, in particular with a device which is known as a lithotripter. Now, this is a device that is used for people who may have kidney stones. And the way this device works is that rays of signal are sent in, and they want them to focus in on the kidney stones to break them up or get rid of them. So because of the unique nature of an ellipse, like we've seen with the Whispering Gallery, the signal will reflect off the elliptical curve and will go to a central point. So the device is positioned so that the central points that they're working off are the focal points. The signal will be at one, and the kidney stones will be approximately at the other location. And this means that they're getting the most out of that signal, that it's focusing in on the area that needs to be focused on. So that's where the ellipse is applied in both building, architecture, construction, and then we also seen an example of a medical device which uses this great shape to make the most of a particular situation. In another video, we'll be examining how to construct the ellipse,